Are you looking for new quality patient leads, but you feel limited by in person marketing? Or you used to do talks, but to generate new patients, but now you aren't able to figure out how to navigate this thing because, perhaps you aren't. You feel like you can't do it in front of people in person. So you're totally in the right place. The solution to that is an automated webinar. So we'll talk about that today. And this is Chen Yen, 6 and 7 figure practice makeover mentor at introvertedvisionary.com and your host today for ChiroSecure show. So welcome. And so if you have ever considered this before, or maybe you haven't yet, one great avenue to generate patient leads is through getting something automated. Because do you ever feel like you always need to be marketing? Do you always feel like it would be nice to just be able to focus on helping patients instead of having to worry about constantly marketing? So the how do you actually set it up so that it works for you? I got some comments saying before this, saying that it I've heard of doing that, but I've heard it doesn't work for chiropractors. And so let's talk a little bit about this, because the reason why it doesn't work is because the people who don't have it working well, it's not set up in such a way that brings in those leads. But there are clients of ours who are bringing leads from new patient leads, and also even another stream of income through automated webinars. So what is it about theirs that is working well? So let me share with you a couple of the biggest myths and mistakes so that you can avoid making them. And then as far as number one is, a common mistake I see is focusing on building the funnel. So if you've heard of automated webinars before, you might think you might know something about building a funnel, right? So what is a funnel? A funnel is just a path for people to take to then ending up doing that end goal outcome you would like them to take. So for many of you, it's a new patient lead, for example, or it might be booking that initial exam with you. That might be an end goal outcome. For some of you, for others, it might actually be the maybe you offer products or certain types of equipment that people can buy, or maybe you have more of a functional medicine side to your practice as a chiropractor, and so uh, you offer supplements or other kinds of things that people can pay and benefit from. So have you ever thought about that you could set up one webinar that's automated that leads people into understanding more about what you can offer there, and then it also leads people to even click the button and pay and purchase whatever it is that you're offering. So that's the overall concept of this, as far as getting an automated webinar in place that would inspire new patients to, or clients to, come from it. Now, so what I mentioned is that one of the most common mistakes that many chiropractors make when they like the idea of setting up something that is automated to generate patients or bring in clients is focusing on, oh, I need to hire someone, or I need to figure out click funnels and these kinds of things to figure out how to build the funnel properly. And once I get that thing built out, then this should work, because that's the kind of thing I've heard before, only to find themselves disappointed that it seems to take a lot of time creating this thing, and then after creating it, then wondering, wait, why is it not working? So let me share with you what the biggest issue is related to that, is not focusing instead on what's the most important thing that actually brings patients or clients in. What is it? It is what you're saying in that webinar itself that not only educates and inspires new patients or clients to come from it. And for most chiropractors, it's not a natural skill set. Many of you went to school to help people with the clinical side of things, but not necessarily to educate through a webinar, because it's a very different skill set. It's one thing to educate and do kind of a lectures kind of thing, right? It's another to educate and inspire new patients or clients to come from it without feeling like you're being awkward or pushy. So the most important thing, if you want to get one thing created, not like 10 of them, but just one. Imagine having one webinar that brings in 5 new patient leads each time it runs, or even 10 new patient leads, or 26 new patient leads, or even if they brought in 1 new patient lead when it runs automated. What would that do for your practice, right? You could be sleeping, you could be eating, you could be spending time with your kids, you could be just relaxing on vacation, and then you check your inbox. Oh, cool, we got a new patient booking. Or, oh, cool, here's some money that just showed up in my inbox. How would that feel? So then if you want that, then focus on, most importantly, on what is it that what's the right angle of a topic to talk about. So let's talk about the 3 main keys to an automated webinar that converts. Number 1 is, do you have the right angle or topic that is engaging and interesting and inspires new patients or clients to come from it? So one of the biggest mistakes I often see when it comes to even just in-person talk titles, but also webinar titles, are titles that end up talking about chiropractic or like a trite topic like back pain, knee pain, without it bring up anything about how it might be bring in a fresh perspective that might be new to someone or interesting. So for example, what's a challenge with a title that has something topic, or a title that has something like the like chiropractic in it? Well, not everyone is ready, knows that chiropractic is going to be helpful for them. So if they see that, then uh, only likely the people who are already interested in chiropractic would check out that webinar. So that's one challenge. Another challenge is maybe sometimes people might think, oh, I already know about chiropractic, and they're not going to check it out. So that is one reason why, for most part, it may not make the most sense for you to include, for example, chiropractic in a title. Another thing about the title itself is that if it is a topic like back pain, knee pain, well, what is the issue with a title that includes that? So if it's more of a general topic like that, just think about how many talks are out there, or how many webinars are out there about that topic. There are a lot of different, whether it's in-person talks or online kinds of talks that are about that topic, right? So what would make someone take the time out of their day to decide, okay, I'm going to check this topic out? And so think about what is a fresh perspective that you can already bring up within the title that would inspire whoever is seeing the title to be wanting to come. So number 1 is choosing the right angle of a topic that is engaging and interesting. Also, most importantly, too, that it not only educates, but it's very in alignment with your ideal patients or clients you're wanting to attract. So if you, for example, another mistake I often see is talking about, let's say you are a chiropractor who doesn't really focus on having nutrition kinds of things within your practice, but you just, like, in terms of your offerings, right? But you want to talk about nutrition. And so then maybe you talk about lifestyle change in your automated webinar, but that is still a little bit more removed from the main topic of what you would like people to do, which is book a chiropractic appointment with you, right? An adjustment. So then if it's like that, then that may not be the best topic for you to choose. So that's one example of where, we need to look for alignment in terms of what would be a topic that would be most likely to attract your ideal patients or clients into your practice, because we don't necessarily just want a lot of people attending only. We want people who are are most qualified, or in terms of who most interested, when you want the most interested and likely to want to book an appointment or take you up on what you have to offer. So, okay, so that's the first step. I mean, the first key. The second step is to then have getting it in front of the right audience. So this is another place where a lot of chiropractors make the mistake of, when wanting to have an automated webinar going that generates new patients on autopilot or clients on autopilot, is autopiloting it too soon. So why is this a mistake? Because if you create something and then you haven't tested whether it's working, it's not been proven to convert into new patient bookings or whatever's that you're offering them, then if you get it in front of a bigger audience, it's still not going to convert likely, right? So regardless of how we get people coming to the webinar, if it's not converting, then it still isn't converting. So this is a very common mistake many chiropractors make when wanting to get an automated webinar going to generate new patient leads. So here is where it segues, but okay, so I'll talk briefly about where do you actually find people to show up, right? So there's free ways and then there's paid ways. So free ways, how many of you love ideas of free ways, right? Free way can be that it's shared with someone who has a community of their own. So it might be perhaps another practitioner who has a community of their own. Even, for example, I had a client of ours who said a nurse practitioner has agreed to share her webinar in front of her patient base. And so then, that's one way of a free approach, where you don't have to pay to get eyeballs on your webinar, get people listening to your webinar. And then an example of a paid way is, so there's several free and several paid ways. I just wanted to give you a sense of this here. So paid ways could be running ads to it, for example, whether through Facebook ads or YouTube ads, or on Instagram, things like that, right? Or even putting things in like online in certain places like Eventbrite and things like that to drive traffic to your webinar. So, but again, this is where it's often premature that a lot of chiropractors make this mistake, where they jump straight to paid avenues, for example, because they feel like they don't want to have to, they feel like it'll just work, or they should work. So then it would just get it going to more people. But tip: wait until let's get it converting first. And this is where it segues into the third key thing that you'll need, and also talk about some other, because I promised that key elements that an automated webinar funnel needs. So the funnel itself, there's a few things that you'll need to make it working smoothly to optimize the number of leads. So, because would you like to have the number of leads be optimized? So, but in terms of the third third step that I was talking about is to have a compelling talk or webinar. So is your webinar compelling? Is it engaging? Does it inspire new bookings without being pushy or salesy? And this is a skill set that we just need to fine tune, right? So, because for most of you, this is not a natural skill set. And one of the concerns I've heard from chiropractors before is that they've either done some training before on this and they found it to be too aggressive or pushy, and it just didn't feel right for them. And so, for example, with our clients, one of the comments they've made to us is that with our approach to when there's structure, and that allows them to feel authentic when they are using the framework, then it feels good, and it's also more likely to bring in new patients who resonate with you. So let's talk a little bit, because I promised that I would bring up what are some of the essentials that are needed in in an automated funnel for it to work well. So let me just share that briefly. So one thing that can make a big difference, because in an automated webinar, the cool part is the little tweaks that we make. The little tweaks that we make can actually make a huge difference in terms of increasing the number of patients you get from it or the money you make from an automated webinar. And so one thing we didn't talk about actually yet is that have you ever thought about the things that you say over and over again? And you feel like a broken record to your patients, right? What if you could put that together in something like an online course that people can learn from and benefit from about that particular health topic? And it could even be automated, right? So that's actually another thing you could make available from an automated webinar. So I just thought about that. I wanted to share that tidbit, hot tip with you. And let's now talk about what I was going to mention as far as a few key essentials that are needed in an automated webinar if you would like to bring in anywhere between 5 to 26 new patients a month from your automated webinars. So the one thing is, what are your show up rates? So what are typical show up rates for an automated webinar? So they're usually, well, not automated, for typical webinars, the show up rate, what do you think it is? Go ahead and type in the comment section or type in the chat below. What do you think is the typical show up rate for webinars? Is it 5? Is it 25? Let's see, what is it, right? So it's actually 20 to 30% show up rate is considered good for a webinar. So now on our campus, when our clients work with us, we even are able to get like we've tested this about what can increase show rates to even up to 50% or more, right? So that's a huge difference, isn't it? And what can you do to, because that's like if you had 20% show up rate and then you had 50% show up rate, instead, that's like double the number of new patient leads or double the number of income you can make from your webinar when you make that fine-tuned tweak. So one tip is, how do you get people to show up to it more, is what do you send to people before the webinar itself? You know, what kind of reminders are we sending? For example, most people are pretty busy these days. Would you agree that most of the time you don't always check your emails very much, like read all your emails? If that's the case, type in your chat, yes, you know, or in the comment right now, yes, don't usually check all emails, right? So that's the case for most people. But if you can have email reminders that remind them, it's going to help bump up the show rate. For example, when we work with our clients, there's a series of email templates that we have them plug into, and that way, you know, don't have to reinvent the wheel, and it helps with show rates. Okay, so then the second important key is also this, which is people might take you up on what you're offering from the webinar or book an appointment with you from the automated webinar itself. And then, so there also is a decent number of people that will likely take you up on it after the webinar. So some will take you up on what you're offering during the webinar, and then there's a decent number after that decent percentage that would actually take you up on it after the webinar. But one mistake a lot of chiropractors make is just do that automated webinar, and then there's not a good good path after the webinar to inspire new patients or clients to come from it. So what is that? What can help with that, right? So you could send, for example, email series that helps with that. And so how many in the email series? What would be most effective? It really depends on what your topic is and what you're planning on offering. So those are a few keys. By the way, if you want help with having more like getting this going in an automated way, then you can go to introvertedvisionary.com and you can click on the free session button there and request a session. We'd be happy to give you insight on how and get this going in your practice, right? And so now, as far as those are the main tips that I wanted to share with you today. So in summary, we talked about how one of the biggest mistakes that many chiropractors make when getting an automated webinar going, for the purpose of also wanting to educate and attract new patients from it, is automating it too soon. And, one of the things that's really cool about automating, though, is that once we get this dialed in, it can be working for you over and over and over and over again for you. And you only had to create it once, right? So why not, instead of having to post on, feel like you have to be posting on social media every day, or hiring somebody to post on social media every day, and that's still not necessarily bring in as many leads as it could be, or doing other kinds of, or feeling so limited right now because you used to maybe do things more in person and you feel like your hands are tied because you can't do that as much right now, then this is a great avenue for you to get going. Also, if you have other practitioners as part of the practice, other docs, other kinds of providers as part of the practice, then this can be a great avenue to help them fill up their practices so that they can be busier, and also be helping people when you're not there, and the clinic is making money when you're not there. So if you would like access to the full free training about this, how to book 5 to 26 new patients from one automated webinar, then just click on the link. I'm going to pop it in the comment below, and you could check out the full free training. So now stay tuned for our guest next week. Our show host is Kim Hyung and Kim Hung, and look forward to checking that out next week. Until next time, so see you soon. And by the way, if you needed that link, it's introvertedvisionary.com/automated webinar. Again, introvertedvisionary.com/automated webinar.